Look, I like Demon Slayer. I love the anime, actually. I'll be the first to admit it. It's dope-ass anime with crazy visuals and great animation, but lately it's been seeming like that's all there is to it right now. Now, you may have seen my earlier video where I ran about the decay of the series, but this time I wanted to get a bit more in depth with it. Firstly, the greatest criticism I have about the show is pacing. It's all happening too fast for me, and there are too many story elements and characters popping up at once. You can see this first start to happen in the Entertainment District arc. I'm not gonna lie, it was a great arc, and I have a great time watching it, but I feel like the number of characters really undersold what the arc could have been. So you have the four main characters, the Hashira and his three wives, not to mention the two demons they need to defeat. That's a lot of characters for one story arc. And not only that, but you need to both flesh them out and introduce them in order to create a compelling narrative. For the most part, they did a great job at this. They fleshed out Tengen beautifully, and his wives had some very interesting and memorable personalities. Not only that, but they weren't useless. They made a considerable contribution to the fight, came in clutch a couple times actually, which is always welcome. The demons were heavily fleshed out too. Their backstories were very compelling, and I actually felt something for them there in the end. And the surprise that there was another demon inside the first one was a phenomenal twist. All that aside, I think this arc is where the creators started biting off a bit more than they could chew. Now, I don't think there was much of anything particularly wrong with this arc. I just think it was the beginning of these pacing issues that we see today. I mean, compared to Mugen Train, it seemed like a lot of the story elements were going on a bit jumbled, and the writers were only barely keeping up with them. The whole time I was watching it, I felt like there was almost too much going on, but not enough to eclipse what I'm thinking. Like, if they added one more character or one more plot element, then the whole story would collapse in on itself, which leads me straight into the next arc, and the one that I have the most issue with, Swordsmith Village. So the Swordsmith Village arc and the Entertainment District arcs are shockingly identical when you really look at them. I mean, they are fighting two different demons at the same time. One demon can split himself into multiple other forms, but except chopping off all the heads at once, you have to go for the main body, so to speak. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it was cool when it first happened because it was a shocking twist in the Entertainment District arc, but this multiple demons thing splitting into other forms and stuff like that is beginning to be a bit gimmicky at this point. Let's focus in on the actual unique abilities of these demons and their blood demon arts. That's what makes them unique and entertaining to watch. And honestly, in this arc, both the demons here have pretty lackluster abilities, especially the fish demon. He was just boring. His whole fight with the Mist Hashira felt like filler to me. Hell, most of it was mainly dialogue and flashbacks, which I don't have an issue with as long as they're actually good ones. And in this case, both the Mist Hashira and the fish demon's flashbacks were a bit pointless. More so the fish demon, the Mist Hashira one was actually a bit compelling to me. It was actually pretty cool. Like, in respect to both of the demons, I'm really not sure what I'm supposed to feel when I see their backstories. Both the demons were horrible people in the time that they were human, so I feel nothing for them when I see their flashbacks. Like, I really don't understand what they're trying to show us here. It's so odd because the show poses their backstories as sad, like we should feel sorry for them or something, but there are absolutely zero redeeming qualities about either of these antagonists. They were awful humans and even worse demons. It's just weird that they want us to feel sorry for them when there isn't a shred of anything that I can empathize with them, like, at all. Now, I think the backstories for the demons are bad, but the Love Hashira's backstory is even worse, I feel like. Like, first off, the Love Hashira didn't do a damn thing this whole arc. I mean, we see her in like 3 episodes, and one of them is a whole ass flashback. And her backstory is just silly. Like, I really don't understand what the point of it was. Like, she wanted to become a demon slayer because she ain't have shit else to do. Like, her reason before becoming a Hashira is so fucking frivolous to me compared to literally everyone else in the entire fucking show. Like, If that's all there is to her character, then why even show us her backstory in the first place? She could have just said a couple of lines and we could have got back to the action. Speaking of the action, first off, there isn't enough of it. Yeah, we see people throwing hands, but the level of action compared to the earlier arcs is clearly lacking in this one. There just seems to be a hell of a lot more filler in this arc and not a lot of kick-ass fighting animations the show is known for. Personally, I think they added so many new characters and decided to take a deeper dive into their individual backstories was because the money was getting to be a little too much to make these fight scenes. Anytime you see a sudden dip in action and more talking and otherwise action-oriented anime is because the money is getting light or they need filler. I don't know why they need filler. I don't know if the money is getting light. This is completely my opinion. So obviously I could be wrong. It's sad too, because they need to have those bombastic fight scenes to keep people engaged, because the writing alone is simply not going to cut it. I feel like there has also been a loss of soul to the show as well. They take things, small things, out that I really enjoyed about the show, like the guiding thread. Y'all remember that? The thread that the demon slayers can see that shows them they're on the right path to chopping off a fucking demon's head. Where the fuck that go? That was one of the most unique things I've seen in an anime in a very long time. It was something small that once you saw it, you immediately thought of Demon Slayer. It added so much tension to the fights because when you saw the thread, you knew that Tanjiro was going to win, except when it broke. Simply amazing stuff and a great style of visual storytelling, and they just dropped it. Shit sad. And there's also the matter of Tanjiro himself. I feel like he is just way too strong compared to what we've seen in the show so far. Of course, he always has help, but is damn near soloing these upper level demons, man. Now, I know he isn't really soloing them, but I'm just trying to make the point that the stakes seem very low in the show at this point. Like, Tengen and Rengoku were fighting for their fucking lives, man. We could feel the desperation. We can see the resolve. It was palpable. You could take a drink out of that shit. It really felt like they might lose, and sometimes they did lose. Now, this kind of desperation and being on the back foot just wasn't in the Swordsmith Village arc for me. Hell, the emotion demon was running the fuck away half the time. Now, how the hell can I be scared that the main characters may lose if they are the ones chasing the demon? It should be the other way around, no? You know, the more I think about it, it seems a lot more like the demons themselves are getting weaker as opposed to the main characters gaining strength. Now, I think the final issue I have with Demon Slayer as it stands today is the curse mark situation. It seems like as soon as someone gets a whiff of Tanjiro's ass, they get the curse mark. Like, is he the catalyst for the curse mark? Why is the curse mark just appearing now? Is it because of him? It's not properly explained. All right. And not only that, there just isn't enough emphasis on others awakening the curse mark. It should be something crazy and bombastic display of effort and strength on the Hashira or whoever awakens the curse mark strength, especially compared to the first time when we see it in Tanjiro. That shit was epic when they first showed it, particularly because of the stakes of the fight at that time. You see how both of these go hand in hand. That pretty much wraps it up for a more in-depth view of Demon Slayer and the issues that I have for it right now. I hope the Hashira arc, the Hashira training arc is better. I really do. You know, and I like training arcs. I really fucking like training arcs. So I think it'll be good. Notice though that most of the issues that I have with this show are narrative based. Okay, they need to slow the fuck down. All right, slow it down. Okay, take your time with it. All right, that's all I'm asking. Is if they just took their time a little bit more, one Hashira, okay, per arc or whatever, how they did it with Rengoku and Tengen, like that's the way to do it. That's the formula that works. Okay, all this extra shit with no nothing filler and all of that, it needs to go. Okay, like, well, tell me what y'all think. Okay, do you think the Swordsmith Village arc was a filler arc? Because I feel like it was a filler arc. Okay, they didn't do shit. Nothing got done. The only thing that really happened in the Swordsmith Village arc was Nezuko being able to be out in the sun. that was discovered. That is the only thing that happened. And it had nothing to do with the demons or anything like that. Nothing. You know, I'm ranting again, but just let me know what y'all think. Peace.